there's a new kind of mission that Thorin has put Thistle on, and it's a little bit bigger than Thistle wants to handle on his own. So he's decided that it might be time to get kind of a little crew together in order to make this happen. So he sends a correspondence to somebody that I wouldn't say is necessarily a friend, but you could definitely say that Thistle has a certain respect and admiration for this particular person, mostly because, well, she's provided him with some really awesome gear. Thistle has these really cool, like, retractable daggers, kind of, that he can just right on command be able to pull out. And he commissioned a certain person to create those for him. And so he sends a correspondence over to this person, and it simply reads, "Meet me at the tavern, -T," which, being in his line of work, being as brief as possible, but people kind of get who it is based on the crest that he seals it with. And it comes to a certain frog-type person who opens it and reads. And as you're reading it, if you could maybe fully, we know your character's name and we know your character's species, but if you could fully introduce your character and what could be going through their mind as they receive this correspondence.
Yeah. You want to tell them one of the things I made for you? Just real quick.
Yeah. I was telling them they were like, I don't know what you ended up naming it, because Thistle's
We're just
one of those.
calling it the same thing it is in the Assassin's Creed game. They're hidden blades.
Yeah, that's basically what they are. Yeah, you created this kind of
For
apparatus to
anyone
create
who's
these
played
hidden
Assassin's
blades.
Creed, it's specifically the better ones Ezio has.
I didn't have to
Where you don't have to
remove an
sacrifice a
appendage.
finger.
Yeah, exactly.
And I talked with him a bit before the proper start, and she has one herself that's just got a smith tool on it. That way she could do things like her arcane armor.
Yep. Yeah. So if maybe you want to kind of introduce the backstory, I went a little bit over Thistle's backstory, but if you want to share Alice's backstory and maybe what's kind of going through her head as she receives this correspondence.
Oh, first off with the correspondence, of course, she's curious. You don't normally get something like that, so she's like, "Ooh, I wonder what this could be. Maybe a new thing to make. Maybe something fun." But I've just moved to the character backgrounds. I'm just gonna give a quick rundown. Not go through the whole backstory. I personally don't feel like I've got the right voice to read it out and have it sound good. You know.
All good,
But
as long as we know what your character's about, we're good to go.
yeah, Alice was actually, unlike most growing, actually born in a city. As a matter of fact, it's the city where she's currently at. At and because of that, she's actually got the, I guess you could call it, Grung default skin. It's that greenish gray skin, very dull in color. But obviously, because she's completely covered, including the mask, um, you can't really tell. But she obviously does it for safety reasons. Because, she's a grung. For those who don't know grung, they're poison frogs. They touch you, and you have to make a con save or be poisoned.
It's a little more than just getting that little wart that people used to think you got.
Yeah, you're legitimately poisoned. And if it goes in, you take 2d4 on a fail.
Ouch.
And I'm saying that because the little thing with his hidden blades is the hidden blades are able to have poison in it. So I can make the little vials for Thistle. But yeah, her great grandparents are the ones who first moved to the city with her grandparents in tow. So it's just her and her parents that had the default skin. And they did it to kind of move away from the tribal thing, pursuit of a better life. This is all overall fairly normal lives, and Grung being Grung, they mature in about a year. So very short childhood. And it was overall a pretty normal life for her, and she was kind of one of those curious kids, you know? Wondering how things were made, all that kind of stuff. And she got real interested in all that. And if she could, she'd make her way to a library so she can start reading, learning more. Eventually, she'd start helping out there in exchange for some books that she could actually have. That way she can properly take them home, read them there, etc., etc. As well as, some money for funding. It's just a little part-time job. And she'd eventually kind of proceed with that at various places. She'd spend time let's see if I could find a specific. Sorry, I'm reading through, seeing if I could find the specific on places. I guess when I had to redo a bit, I forgot that. But she'd also work at places like the blacksmith, the alchemist. She doesn't have proficiency in jeweler's tools. I figured I wouldn't give her that to so easily, because one, didn't have that option. Two, the way her hands work, not so easy to gain all that skill in it, even over 13 years. And only light helping. But, she helped out at places like an alchemist, the jeweler, blacksmith, picking up basically tools of the trade skills. And she did that about 13-ish years. This is all up until the point where she could afford her own place. And, that's when she really got into her own research. She's got the researcher background. Since she did a lot of studying and everything, I've kind of figured that was the best one for her. Because her main focus was looking into how things work. Just research.
Yeah.
But yeah, she eventually got her own place. And she'd occasionally go out to the other places where she'd helped out before, but that was a bit less often. And she'd usually spend her time at her home, working on various ideas for gadgets, things like that. And if she really got into a project like the Hidden Blades, she would have. But she kind of tended to forget to take care of her daily needs, including the bathing that is important for Grung, because they need to immerse themselves for 1 hour in water per day, or suffer a level of exhaustion, which can only be cured by magic or doing the immersion in water. So, she'd often go up to level 3 or 4 exhaustion, just because she was too focused. Time flies by when you're too focused.
Yeah.
And that went on for several years. I put 3, but I kind of miscounted. That was a bit of a math issue. I was thinking I should have put more like 5 or 6, because she's 20 years old.
Math, the true BBEG of Dungeons and Dragons.
Uh-huh. That's why I use sites like Shard, where I don't have to do the math.
Yep.
It does it for me.
Yep.
I click.
Exactly.
Or tap it on the phone.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. 3 years makes a bit of sense. Because it was after 3 years that she became a artificer. Kind of makes sense. It said to her that she ended up becoming an artificer with her work and learning magic and tinkering and all that. So, she'd go out, do a little bit of adventuring, earn some money, test some gadgets, things like that. Maybe Thistle joined her on a few when doing things like testing the hidden blades.
For sure. Yeah. Thistle
Yeah.
loves gadgets, but he has no idea how they work. So,
Yeah, so she went kind of any emergency maintenance. He went because it was meant for him, so she had to see any adjustments. And
awesome.
she could do some on the fly.
Awesome.
There's things like different ways to use her poison, maybe sometimes some potions, things like that. And sometimes she just go out on quests, just for money. She felt she had enough for a while. That's when she'd go back to focus on her research.